Sri Lord Shiva Bhagavati Sri Durga Bhagavati Sri Hare Rama Bhagavati Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare Hare
Right at this point is often where there's some backing down, there's some running away, there's some avoidance. You know, it is the most almost uncomfortable, can be in some cases, not always. Sometimes it's most exciting point of the inquiry. Yeah, it's exciting and it's scary in some way because you can feel like, you know, you're going into no man's land, into the unknown or something.
It also feels like I can't do it. I try, but
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Okay, so let's start from there. Something is saying, I'm trying, I can't do it. But there's also awareness of that sensation.
Yes.
Yeah. Always come back to this point. Don't go and multiply. Always come back to your main standpoint that it is seen. It is seen. You know, yeah, but it's so difficult, you know, like I just feel blocked. That is also seen. It is a sensation inside. Don't identify with anything. In order for inquiry to be successful in this way, like the mirror, don't identify with anything. You see? Just keep on, I would say, recognizing that, but that is seen. So if it is seen, the seeing place where the seeing originates cannot be caught in the thing seen. And immediately you cut the juice, or any sort of distraction gets cut very easily. Otherwise you find you see one thought pulls you into another one and combine with another one, and next minute you're in another room somewhere having a shower. You know, so this is
it's like I hear this advice.
Is it not heard?
But it's maybe.
No, not maybe. Now is not time for maybe.
Okay.
Is it not heard?
It's like I feel I'm still pulling energy into the identity.
Yeah. I is what?
It's the mind.
Yeah. You see, yes, it is seen, and what you're noticing is how in the ultimate, in the final stages, we're still holding the mind. You're still holding, and this is still where the duality is sustained inside you. You see, you know. Then when I say it is seen, then something just unlocks from that a bit, and then there's space again. You see, as long as you identify, you will continue in this delusion. Actually, if I keep it one word. Yeah. So each time you recognize again, you see, but I'm here. I'm just here. In a way, that didn't really happen, you see. It was just believed. It was just made up in my mind. The mind is somehow arising as these things, you see. But, you know, but I can't stand this, and I feel so stuck. And so this voice, nobody question. We don't question this voice. You really think you're the one who feels this, and this is happening to me, and, you know, but how was it yesterday? And, you know, but I really saw it yesterday, and you don't go beyond this. It's like you're caught inside this box. I saw this yesterday. So, wait a minute, who's speaking inside this box? It's me. I know I'm not inside the box. I know I'm not inside the box. I'm looking at the box. Let's see this. And then somehow when this is seen, wow, that's false. It's not. I am not inside a box of that identity, and this identity, this box is totally transparent. You have to go very close up to it and knock it, like the guy with the glasses. I put my fingers through the glasses. I wasn't sure. I said, you know, all logic says, but, you know, this should not be. Why should somebody wear glasses with no glasses? See, like this. But something says, but no, these are very clear for glasses. Can I try them? Oh, look at that. Nice. So you have to check it out. Yes.
also great powers here. That,
Yeah.
you know,
There's great power here.
but always, like, when I come and I talk to you, or when I do the inquiry
Yes.
myself, I end up in the same place. It's
You
like,
come back in the same place. Something comes back in the same.
I cannot let go.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know it's the mind speaking now.
The reason why you cannot let go is you identify as one who can let go or cannot let go.
And what breaks is like the power of determination,
No.
because
The
it's
self
also
does not
mind.
need determination. You see, it's still the one who's trying to do it.
Yes.
Feels like, what do I need? I need some extra strength. I need your blessing. I need some more courage and so on. I'm saying you don't need anything. You are just the awareness itself. But you can't step out of how you've always thought about yourself. We can't step outside the paradigm of what we've always considered to be ourselves. Always, you need some tool. You need something. And I'm saying that is illusion. So you will always go back to there, you see. Even in your thinnest identity, you'll keep. And it is enough to say, yeah, because, I just keep coming back to the same place. And I say, but what watches this coming back to the same place? You've got to get it today. Now. So some is just I can't believe it. I've done many things. I've had successes, some failures, but this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Who's saying that?
It feels like the question can't be coming from
The question is coming from the manifestation itself. The doubt is in the manifestation and the manifest identity. That is believing that it's because this question you cannot ask in the deep sleep. It only belongs in the waking state. It's where the work has to be done. So you're saying, and I can see it very clearly. You see, when you say it like this, you see, this is as far as I've got. This is as far as I come, and I can smell it. I can smell that there's something there. But this final thing, can you push me in this final thing? So I am pushing, but not from there. You are already seeing. Something cannot accept that it is already done. It's not even done, in fact. It's not even done. It's neither finished nor unfinished. Don't hold any identity if these words have any power or value to say to you. But something is holding you to identity. Because it needs to survive, it doesn't need anything. That doesn't need anything also. It's just playing as the need to survive. It doesn't need anything.
So I feel now like there is nothing that I need to say or to want to do.
Yeah. But who is I? Each one must experience this inside themselves. Don't think, oh, I see where she's at. No, see where you're at. So there's nothing I can do. So there's nothing I can do. Well, actually, no, there's nothing you can do. You're a ghost. Appearing inside your own self.
So even when you say this, it has no meaning.
It has no meaning because
There is nothing to take this.
No.
But there's still something here.
Yes. Why is something still there?
Because I'm here.
Yeah. And then I ask you as what is still here? What is here? You only qualify yourself. Yeah. Are you something or nothing?
Mooji, it feels like this is very, 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 very subtle. Very subtle. The thought that comes to mind for myself is there was a time in the play where the still small voice could be kind of clearly heard because the other was so loud. And now that false I is trying to speak in a very still small voice to discern between the true and the not true. Or it almost kind of makes me think of when you went before Papaji to the letter, and that letter was written in great sincerity.
By a ghost.
By a ghost. Exactly.
The ghost writer.
But it feels, it's so subtle.
Yes, yes. What I'm trying to say now, at this point, that what is beyond gross and subtle now. You see, even that, beyond gross and subtle. There's no condition, there's no quality that you can join to it. It has no associates, it has no assistance, has no supporter, no support. It doesn't need anything at all. It is not proud, it's not king, it's not an emperor, it's not the supreme. These are words we use in the language of duality, and somehow they are very effective because all come from that. And in the whole field of language, some words have become so subtle they're about to vanish. The mind has to be very subtle to use them, because for instance, very few human beings on this planet will refer to themselves as emptiness. You understand? It's a taboo. You don't say things like that. You get locked up for things like that. You see? But even if you're locked up, they will think they got you locked up, but you're not locked up at all. What you'll find is that the whole world is inside the jail and you're out. They're in the prison feeling sorry for you. Look, you're in prison. If everybody's in prison in this world and one is free, that one will seem like he's in prison. This is the funny thing. It's not subtle. It's not subtle. We have used words as far as they can go. And now they are evaporating in their meaning now. And still, even the most subtle cannot touch that. Because it is perceived. Anything is perceived there. You see? We're not dismissing the world because the world is also it. It's it manifest. But at the moment, nobody knows what the world is. We think that the world is the world. But the world is Brahman. The world is it also. But while you feel that you are a person, the world is not it. The world is the world. And it is something very subtle.
Can we try more?
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. You see, even as you use the term I, it is perceived I, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. That which perceived I, is it I?
It's not the mind I. It's not the changing I. It's
What other?
The present I.
Yes, the present I also is not perceived. Is it not perceived?
It
Present
is,
I?
but already with presence I don't have problem,
You see? Now, would the Absolute say that?
But I can answer this, and I feel I answer this from here.
Yes.
But
yes.
but something is still
Yes.
going on.
You answer this from here is the heart of the illusion. You answer from the heart of the illusion, which is, it is fine, it's beautiful, because this conversation, I never expect that things will come so close. When they do, I'm very happy. I want to see them conclude themselves, to evaporate inside their understanding. Yeah, disappear in their belief, in their impact, because something is still belief, and the belief is still wearing the concept. So it feels like it's very hard to, you see, to be free of this. But you want to understand, but still with the mind, with the subtlest of mind, maybe with the sattvic mind. But the sattvic mind is also something from the absolute. It cannot reach, you see.
Yes, I know.
It is a child of the absolute. It's somehow, if we can use a language like that, it cares for it. It is coaching itself in this play of duality to somehow shed the final skin, like the final skin of the onion. It doesn't reveal a baby onion. And it is clearly seen. And I said, let's see, can we, so to speak, in language, can we go beyond this subtle thing? You see? Can we go beyond this subtle thing?
It feels like there's it's like the attention in this question can go a lot to like the one that's like really trying to get this, like it gets stuck a bit in that one, and then like a tree kind of grows out of it.
Yes.
Like
What is watching the sense of stuckness? Because from my questioning, nothing should proliferate out of my question, you see? Nothing can grow out of my question. It can only disappear. Nothing can build. And so because nothing can build, every single movement or subtlety to retain or to build is seen. You see? That activity is still there to preserve. You want to be Vishnu, but I'm calling you to Shiva. You want to preserve, but I'll destroy. Yes. Yeah. Vishnu folds up into Shiva. And Shiva is here. But while you're looking at Vishnu, you don't see Shiva. But it is Shiva who is looking at Vishnu.
I don't know where I am.
Okay. But you have the sense, you know, you don't know where you are. You have the sense. Because you imagine that you should be someplace else inside your understanding, or I should be getting somehow suddenly everything is gone for a little bit, but it's not the ultimate gone. It's like it's a state of distraction or something. Or I don't know what I am. Is that what you mean?
I don't know. It means like it's a space that I can't label.
Ah. Yes.
And I can hear words, but I don't know what they're.
Yes. This is very good. It is it. If there is not the belief that, you know, I don't know what's happening, I don't know where I am, and you know, it will clear itself up. If you have a hope that, and you register this state of not knowing as a kind of state that I've fallen into a kind of state, but in time I'll come out, then if you believe this, then you'll come out of that into a state. You're in the stateless state, you see? But then we are accustomed to being in a state. The person, the identity is always a state. You see, it's always a state. But yourself is a stateless state. So therefore all states can come and play in it and disappear in it. But it doesn't come and go and disappear. This is the final knowledge, the final understanding, the final seeing. And this finality is what we are. But while we play as diversity and the perceiver and the enjoyer of this magnificent universe, something maybe feel, you know, I want to understand the child cannot understand the emotions of the mother, cannot understand what the pregnancy of the mother feels like. So in the same way, the idea you have of yourself cannot evaluate or perceive the absolute. And yet, we speak about the absolute, and absolutely you're that. But at the moment, because of identity, it feels that the absolute is your highest attainment, and one day you'll get there. This is a concept, and you would have chosen this concept rather than seeing the conceptless self. And as soon as you buy this concept, it's immediate delivery. It won't be sent by DHL and get there in 2 days. Immediately, as you purchase this concept, immediately it's in. You see? So don't purchase any concept. Therefore I say that I'm not teaching anything. I only point, and you can only discover, you can only recognize. You cannot capture. Maybe you get captured, but it's not true that you capture, because there's no jail in the absolute. There's no place to keep you. We have a feeling that we'll be lost, and so fear arises for us. But from the absolute standpoint, it's just child's play. It's nothing. Why I can speak like this? Because I have nothing at all. I have nothing at all, and I'm nothing at all. Therefore I can speak like this. Because I have nothing I'm preserving or protecting. I don't need to concentrate on myself. Everything, however subtly you speak, I see everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. Everything that you can see, everything you can feel, everything you can remember from the past or project into the future, everything is on the table of manifestation. Including the one you take yourself to be, perceiving the table with any interest is also on the table. Maybe on the chair around the table. But everything on the table, and the table itself, and the one at the table is all under manifestation. And I simply cannot accept, that you don't see this with all your heart, except because of fear. Maybe because of fear somehow, that, or there is some seed of delusion, a kind of cosmic spell. But that's too easy to say. That's too easy to say. Because you are nothing other than consciousness. For someone who's blind, I will not use the word consciousness. Okay? But I can use it here with you, that you are nothing other than consciousness. So therefore all the power is with you to see. You are the unknown, afraid of the unknown. And I tell you, you don't want to be the known. It is too limited. The known cannot exist. The known cannot exist. Because nothing in the knowable realm is static. It has to be an amoeba. It has to change in the realm of change. And what the mind does, it puts consciousness like a tin of sardine. It puts it in a tin and seals it and says, I know that. And so that stops breathing. You see? So you don't want to be the known. This is why everything that you have called yourself and defined yourself, to define yourself is to confine yourself. But for a while it gives you a sense of coziness, a comfort, a sense of independence and privacy. And for a while the consciousness in the form of the person indulges itself because it likes this feeling that I can think and you don't know what I'm thinking. You understand? But somehow as it's coming back again into real understanding, it begins to see the smallness of that and begin to experience its boundlessness. And as soon as really that serum of knowledge is in, of real knowledge, it begins to want to let go of everything, because it sees everything is a trap somehow, or gives it the sense of entrapment. You see? So we've come to here. We put so much effort to come here, and right at the door we're turning the knob, okay? We're turning the knob, and you're actually which want to go into a door, but you are inside already. Okay? You're at the door, like Rumi said. Now we're at the door of knowledge. Your questions have brought you to the door. And now the door. Okay, let's open it. And you're opening in. And here, outside is also in. And inside is in. You see? But the hand on the door is all fear. I can't see how this can be refused, you see? For the one point in your life, you're going to go past all confusion. You're going to go through the door of all possibilities. If something wants to retain, the duality and the sort of the sense of a playground, which is still there. It doesn't belong to the mind itself. So you come to the point again, you're here. And these are the words now coming, you see? These words, they are come from like I say, the last bodyguards of this glass house, the crystal palace, are guarding the palace. And they're coming out now. But they are seen. The one that says, but all I want is to be that. So answers cannot do. Answers are seen also. Questions are seen. Answers are seen. Actions are seen. Want is seen. Wanter is seen. Presence is seen. Body is seen. Sense of stuckness is seen. Blank is seen. Sense of being lost is seen. By what is it seen? You cannot tell me the answer. The verbal answer is not enough. It must open up into an insight, into a revelation, into direct experience. And even this opening up, what is here is not an event. It's not going to happen. What happens is the recognition of that. That cannot happen. It just is. And maybe the mind has a picture of that, like something is meant to go, or at least, or something, or
and letting go is also seen.
Letting go is also seen. Whoosh is also seen. Waiting for something to happen is also seen. I just don't get it is also seen. But what do I have to do is also seen.
And it's just here is also seen.
And it is just here. It is just here. Yeah?
But it's also seen.
It is also seen. What sees it?
Still the attention so much going to what's coming.
You see the attention going towards the comments.
Yes.
Is also seen.
Yes, and attention. The concept of attention also seen.
Concept of attention is seen.
But it's still there.
But it's still there is also seen.
It's coming. Also seen.
It is coming is also seen.
Mooji help me is also seen.
Is also seen. Mooji help me is also seen. Which means what?
Means what?
Yeah, which means what? All these things, all these are also seen, also seen. Which means what in the big thing? Because we can keep going on.
You're not ignorant.
Huh?
You're not ignorant. What you are is not ignorant.
Yes. So then the conclusion, what you are is not any of it, is also seen. Your frustrations are also seen. The confusion is also seen. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I don't believe you. Sorry, I don't believe you at all. Huh?
It's like what I was trying to say before. I feel like I didn't say maybe in the right way. That like it seems like it's so easy, and it's like a very natural seeing. But then when it's like we're all gathered here, it feels like we're all in this thing, like trying to find this thing out, and it's like this thing we're all focusing on, and it feels like it becomes like a something, and all the energy is going into this activity of trying to see the seer. When you actually see it, it feels very natural. Like
Then it feels very natural is also seen. And it's not it. It doesn't have no feel. It feels very natural when it is seen.
I mean, like
No.
it's like it's free. Like it gives up this feeling of free. Like something it frees up something inside.
Okay.
But in this, I'm not feeling that kind of. Like,
You being what?
Okay.
You see, it always comes back to you. It always comes back to you, which is not it. It always come back. You finish off. You run the race, 100 meters, and 99.9 meter you come back to this place again. You see? This I again, you see. It is taking credit for everything. I'm the one who see it, I'm the one who's going to get it. I did it. Is it possible to say I did it? Yes, it is actually. At a certain stage, there will be an innocence in that. Because language is needed. Someone may ask a sage, so, are you that? And depending on the moment, whether it's a moment that it can be said, yes, I am that. And there's no duality in that. And another moment he may choose not to say that, or it may feel not to say that I'm that. It may say, I'm not other than that. Because there is also, not because of anything here, but because of the environment, the climate of listening, and the maturity of the presence, whether it will really assimilate an answer that says, I am that. And not go with the belief in the others saying, yes, I am that too. Then he says, no, I am that and your I am that not the same. You see? But they said, but how can it be? You say I am that and I must be that. And he says, yes, you are that, but not yet. But then it's time. And then he'll tell you, please shut up. Please shut up. Don't go further with your thoughts now. Just sink into this now. If the words have anything. Because at a certain point, the words are not communicating anymore. If the mind starts to play clever again and stuff, then it says, okay, you've blown your chance. It's not your time for the moment. And it is okay. No disappointment. It's okay. Actually, the noise outside is not as loud as the noise inside. Because the noise outside you can escape from. The noise inside you cannot escape from. The only way you can escape is to know yourself, is to be yourself. Because that alone has the power to transform everything. The noise inside or outside is loud because there's one who is disturbed by it, who is bothered by it. Not to say that, oh, you should not be bothered by anything. There's a reflex in consciousness, and it will feel and respond to whatever it responds to. So I don't want to get into too tight about that. This is why I point only to the absolute thing, because that is the medicine for everything. If I stop you short, then I have to say, okay, in this place you have to be careful of that and that and that. So no, it's too much. Let me see if you can come to the absolute. In the world, human being world, then somehow you can begin to assess whether human beings fulfill the potential of consciousness, whether they are themselves the fulfillment of the potential of consciousness. And you see how far, in a way, we stray, because we are that. But so much invested we are in our projections that we don't see what we are, we don't understand what we are, you see. So as such, the human kingdom is not highly evolved, actually, because you have to at least be evolved enough to know you're nothing. And we are still too very much identified and invested in being something. And because we feel we are something, then we'll always be pursuing something. You see? So what brings those to an urge to delve into that which brings you again to emptiness? And in emptiness you're released from the suffering of your own mind and projection. And then from here your seeing is panoramic, it's all round. It's just, you don't have to occupy a narrow view of seeing anymore. It just doesn't happen. And it's not a practice. It is just the outcome of true seeing. Your seeing becomes universalized again. At the moment, we're all functioning in a very tribal way. It's a very localized consciousness, and we're not really in the fullness of our being. You see, perhaps with these bodies, you cannot come into the total fullness of consciousness, because the body imposes certain restrictions upon consciousness as well. That is fine, but there will be sufficient space for us to move beautifully in this life, in this experience of what we call life, without the fear of time and change like that. But somehow when it comes to like this, we are discussing this conversation and bringing it to a level that most religions don't go. They can go, it is inside, because there's always a religion inside a religion. There will always be those inside themselves that have come that far. You see, they have reversed the glove of manifestation, and they're just squeezing out the last intern fingers out of it. We are doing the same thing here, because now there's not much room left for you to go. There's no more room for you to hide, you see. And so it's a moment sometimes of discomfort, because a lot of times in many practices you can hide. You can hide in your practice. You can hide sitting like a Buddha, but hiding. But in the true light of inquiry, you're running out of place to hide, you see. And so we come to this point, and this is why people want to run. Yeah? And the way you run is to somehow ridicule what you're seeing. I mean, to make it seem like it's some kind of trick or some nonsense, or you'll find something in the community, in the sangha, in the teacher that to denounce. This is what the mind will do as a way of escaping like this, but it only escapes with your permission. You see. So here it come like that. I point you, somehow we're right here. I see, but whether this crossing over will happen, I don't know. This is what we are doing. Something is right there somehow, and this crossing over is also an illusion, but it is a necessary illusion.
The person that keeps trying to claim,
the person that is trying to claim what? That to be the achiever, you mean? Yeah. What about?
It keeps trying to pull in the sense of I.
It itself is arising like an I. That it's getting it. It's looking at its own frustrations, because once you identify as this traveling I, you cannot help but feeling limitations. It just comes up. It swims up around you, and then you feel that there's this thing blocking me a little bit, and you always find some excuse, a little excuse or something, but still it's running out of gas. It's running out of gas a little bit, no? But then you might just get out the car and start hitchhiking. I don't know. Let's see. You see, what I am finding now, right? For instance, your energy is not supporting this inquiry at the moment. So I have no interest to cross the line for you.
Because I feel
Your energy is not supporting this to finish this off. You're already deflating something. Like maybe it's time to stop packing. Somebody's going to say in a moment, maybe it's time for us to maybe stop packing a bit and stuff. And inside you go, oh my God. Yeah. You may not be conscious of it, but energetically, this is the atmosphere at the moment. You've come to a point, and something here is you should be now hold me by the throat and say, Mooji, I got to get this, man. Okay?
I got to get this man.
Yeah, I still don't believe you.
It was occurring to me that in a classroom, when the students are sort of falling asleep, the teacher would just say, shriek. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe people would be.
Yeah. I do this by pointing it out to everybody, you know, because you are responsible for your energetic expression also. You see?
Mooji, I have a question.
No, but there is something. And at least if there's one, then you must fight for your chance. You see, you cannot just sit and then wait for me because I'm not a performing seal or something. You know. I'm not this. So something must say, you know, okay, but is there, I have to go through this or whatever, and because I'm not telling you don't say I. I'm just keep on asking you what this I is. And each time you must look into the mirror of this seeing, and then you must clarify, you must confirm or something. You see, because I come to this point sometime and we go right there and I'm saying, whoa, you know, and then it's like boiling milk. And we're coming right up, it's coming up, and you turn it off. Okay? You turn it on again, it simmers.
When you catch my mind, because I was even making the mind, making the way I pick up the car and I go to the camping and then I put the things, but I was just watching that movement of the mind.
Yeah.
Just
Yes. What is the saying I gave you this morning? I just were inside, I gave something, what?
Here it is.
I just told her this morning, write it down. Ego lives by being concealed. Thus, we have a love-hate relationship with our person. And so often, we hate our reflection when seen through the sense of other. For other shows us what remains hidden inside ourselves. You see? And sometimes if you retain the sense of the person, something it doesn't want to see. Whatever brings it again to recognize its own self, it feels uncomfortable. You see, it's you. You're making me feel uncomfortable. My parents, my life, you know, the whole world. You know, I want to get rid of them because what? You don't want to see yourself. Because everything in the world, in a way, is also not just a solid thing, independent, but in intelligence, they come as a kind of mirror. They're reflecting back opportunities for your own introspection, your own contemplation. And it gets easier and easier, and lighter, and more joyful and more joyful. You see? But in the beginning, the ego is very lazy for this. It has a lot of energy for what is transient, but for what is permanent, it avoids. You see? And this is the various energetic expressions of the manifest self. In the beginning, it's somehow, you know, kind of like it has a lot of energy to be in the light. You see, and then as it's reminded of itself, it's kind of like this, because it still believes that it is the what I call the undermind. The surface mind is the mind we present to the world, and the way that we learn to move and to be seen, because we feel that we're objects. The undermind is really what's going on underneath the surface mind. Insecurities and competitiveness and judgments and stuff like that, trying to get beyond all this type of stuff. And then we think that's all there is to us. So therefore, when someone like myself look at you, who look in the eyes like this, some people they don't, because they identify with their this undermind, the underground mafia mind inside. You see, but I don't see this actually. I just see the self. You understand? But they seeing that somebody's seeing that the game is up. They can see that I'm not a good person and stuff like. You see, like this, and this is the trauma of that state. You see, so it will always find company that doesn't reflect deeply enough what it is. It will find shallow company like that. So this is what for a while it's like the consciousness is looking through a window to look at what's on the other side of the window. But with maturity, this window turns into a mirror, and you start to see what is new. You see? And then after a while, you somehow, by grace, you come to see even what is outside, what's inside. There's something inside the inside itself, which has no characteristic. It's very, very pure. But we are so attached to quality that we can't imagine a life without the quality created through the mind. You see? Now this quality will still be there in the awakened state, but it will be somehow sanctified by your seeing. So it becomes pure. The senses will still function, but they're pure. Emotions will be there, but they're not sort of like overwhelmed with sort of like sentimental, kill. There's something is just functioning much more in harmony, like that. And then the fear of life and fear of death will leave you. When you search for the sense of self, or the place of self within your own being, you will not find a tangible center, a fixed place. And unexpectedly, the non-finding of such an expectation leads to great joy, great peace. Because you cannot deny that you are, but that you are an object, you will not be able to find. And when you realize I'm not the object, the fear of death, the fear of time will leave you. You see, like this. So this is where we have come to this point in our seeking, our looking like that, and we are right here. We're right here. We're right here. But even this is an illusion. But it is necessary. You cannot discard this illusion, because if you discard this illusion, you go back to 4-star illusion. You must use this. This is the mirror of God.
So how can I want to pick it up again?
Yes.
So there is like the sense that this
You see, in a way, the success of conversation is that you're running out of things to converse about. You see, and this is success. And the mind doesn't want this, because it wants to keep on conversing. It wants an appointment for more conversation. You see, but here we're running out of oxygen. You see, there's not much we can keep talking about. So we come back always to the same point, and you come back quickly. We'll come back to here. We won't come back to here. We'll come back to here each time. You see, like this. So finally, again, you're here, and we at least have come to see that whatever you are perceiving, it is seen. And now somehow with that intimate looking, you see that even the subtlest excuses now are coming up, and they were not coming up before. Just the gross material was coming up, but the subtle excuses are coming up. Like, I just feel like I'm really, I can see that I'm nearly there. I said, but that is seen. And but it's so subtle. I said, that is also seen. Please help me. Please help me. Who is speaking that? Yeah, that is also seen. So what more is left inside?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, come a bit closer so we can hear you, because we're also recording. This is a very important conversation for me.
in the inquiry where it's very clear that everything is perceived, thoughts, the feelings, even the sense of a person, which actually is just a sensation of a type of attention in the body that I used to call a person. It's like this. And so this is quite clear, and sometimes there is still identifying with that and moving back out, this in-and-outness that often gets spoken about. And that's also seen. And then somehow, when this question is asked, can the perceiver be perceived, there is just this this kind of a tingling joy, this carbonated type of a joy just arises and is there. And with that, often there's this sense of opening out of spaciousness.
Yes.
That's also seen.
Yes.
And with that, also what's seen around me is often so much more beautiful than when the identification is with the contracted person. It's like a telescope kind of going back. And all of this is seen, and it happens, and sometimes it contracts and moves in and out, but something is still feeling like one way is good and one way is bad. Like when there's a contraction into the person, there's this subtle sense of, oh no, this is not so great. Now I'm in the person identity. I have to now do something to go to this wider seeing. And when this wider seeing is there, something, it's very, very subtle, but something feels like this is good. And I just get this sense that shouldn't both be somehow accepted inside?
Yes, yes, but not stayed with. When the face is turned again towards what is the perceiver, and everything begins to expand. Yes. And there's a joy that arises in that expansion, as you talk about this carbonated joy, this fizz of being. And very often a satisfaction comes at this point. And I feel, oh yeah, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, consciousness. Thank you, life. Thank you, self. This is very nice. And we're content. And I says, this is fine. Don't stop there. Also, then you say, this is also perceived. You see? Then some voice says, but can't we just stay here a little bit? You know, I mean, at least we come out of the forest. Let's enjoy the sunlight a little bit. And say, oh yeah, okay. It won't go. That can still be there. But just come deeper in again. Something again here, you know, like this. Then how far can you where can you travel here?
There's nowhere to travel from there. It's somehow happening in a greater space that it's not seeable.
When the question, can the perceiver be perceived, what is really being implied is the perceiver, which is naturally in the position synonymous with the sense of self. Because you cannot keep pointing the perceivers over there. Okay? Because but what knows the perceivers over there? Is that over there or here?
No,
you have to say it's here.
Is everywhere. In that space, the perceiver, it's not even inside or outside. It's like there's a...
You're speaking from now also as well.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So my then question is that perceiver, if there is a perceiver, or at the root of perceiving or perception, is there something tangible or intangible? Is there a form there, or it is formless? You see, this is another way the question can be put: can the perceiver be perceived? Because if it is perceivable, it must have some aspect, some quality that you can say, yes, it can be seen. So then you must experience this, not just give me the words of it. You know, is the perceiver a tangible phenomenon or an entity? Or not, because the answer is you. The answer is not for the first time. Your answer will not be objective answer. It must be a subjective response, isn't it? The perceiving the answer must be experienced. Every other question was objective question, so the mind could answer something, or the intellect of the being or consciousness somehow brought to light something, and that is seen. So that is seen. And for a long time in this universal, in this universe, in this phenomenal body, objective answer did bring satisfaction. But the one who received the answer, the perceiver, the enjoyer, the experiencer, was never questioned. Now the question arises, this experiencer, can the experiencer be experienced? Can that which is observing everything else, can it itself be observed? Is it an it, as in something tangible, or is it intangible? And now you must experience, because this is where I say, when you and your answer is the same. And I'm giving you a lot of help here in saying like this, because it's your turn somehow to share your seeing. You see, it is your turn to share your seeing. The question is put.
There is only then seeing.
Yes.
Even what's seen is actually seeing. So
Yes. And you are what?
that's seeing.
Yes. And is it time bound?
No, it's the word ancient comes, but it's not ancient. Then timeless comes, but it's not even necessarily timeless. It's just.
Why not timeless?
I guess timeless is the best word I can think of for it, but it still has a conceptual idea of it.
If you choose, because you can use concepts, and at the final point of seeing, they all vaporize, they fulfill themselves, they return to emptiness again. They were only useful for our journey into looking, but ultimately they collapse into that emptiness as well. The concepts themselves are the absolute. You see, like that. They have served their purpose. They were the mirrors that were necessary in the journey of life for the consciousness to keep on contemplating itself until it is succeeded in again discovering itself. So there's no more real sadhana that it needs to, like you don't always have to look in the mirror to see who you are, to see your face. And somehow something has come to total satisfaction again. You see. So your answer must be consistent at any time, in any frame of time, in any mood, in all the different seasons of the body. This answer, if you want to use it as an answer, must be consistently the same. Not because somebody is there to remember what it said the last time. Just because at any time, in any frame, space is always empty. It is always the same.
With this, the seeing, it's associated here with a certain set of sensations in the body somehow.
Well, the seeing allows, actually, when I say in this understanding, somehow blesses every aspect or facet of the expression. We're not trying to get away from expression. We're not trying to get away from the senses. The senses are not your enemy. You understand? The manifestation is still there. It was not an offense to the unmanifest, isn't it? So we don't need to be running away from it. It is enjoyed, but it's enjoyed within the totality of yourself. You see? You don't have to speak about these things and bring trouble to yourself. Just keep quiet. Let it be your own quiet understanding and live from this place. You see, this is why I say, don't take it to the chai shop. Something wants to go out. This is the thing to be watched, because as soon as this seeing somehow has flowered, sometimes arrogance come, pride come, I know something come, and boom, at the same moment you cut your throat. You see, and you end up being another clever baba that just talk about these things. So you have to stay with this, inside and just be with yourself. It's okay. Don't run away from life unless just leave everything. Leave everything means that if today you feel like going to the market, go to the market. If tomorrow you feel staying in bed, you stay in bed. I mean, whatever. I don't want to talk about these things because your consciousness has to find its way through life. And don't feel that having realized this, that you will just live this perfect life. You may still have a lot of little mistakes, the ego will still come in a bit sometime, but it cannot win, because every time the memory serves now to as the most powerful mirror has happened now. So the ego cannot thrive. It will come and it will come up. And there's no need to be afraid of ego. It's okay. It's just a mechanism. It's still just somehow, it's like whatever you eat, that you will belch. but that you will burp. So somehow these things will come, and you will find that sometimes you're trying to do something, you know, like you are the self, and you realize no, it's not like that. Again, it's not like, it's screwed up. It's screwed up. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Then you don't make that mistake again. You make a new mistake or something.
I made the
And then-
mistake a couple of times
Yeah.
of feeling the sense of, well, now that there's only this seeing, I can just do anything, and
Yeah.
then actually no.
Yeah, yeah, just like that,
No.
like that. You will see sometimes you feel now, you know, something wants to go and bless people, and then they go, "What the hell are you doing?" Or something, or you know, you're kind of somewhere doing, and you say, "What the hell is that?" You know, it's like, "Oh, okay," so, you know. And gradually you're somehow finding your natural coordination. See, because the ego is still there, looking, you know, like kind of reapplying for the job. It's still there. But don't worry about this. Don't go, oh, you know, why is this still here? Then the way it grows with that. It's okay. That will gradually something is just slowing down, you know. But the juice is cut, meaning the belief, the delusion that I'm this one who is trying to do something is actually cut. But the old memory still come in sometime, you know.
Feeling of that
That is,
comes quite often.
Yeah.
That I'm someone doing something, and
Yeah.
even though that's seen, it's very consistent somehow.
Yeah.
Actually, right now, not. But
yeah.
yeah.
When I used the example before that it's like you're in a fever state, and so everything you do is in the fever state. You don't have to remember, oh, I'm doing this and I'm in the fever state. It's just automatic, isn't it? When the understanding has completely blossomed, is blossomed inside you, then everything that you do, even your mistake, is happening inside the awakening. You see? Even inside the awakening, you know, you will do things that seem quite unawake sometimes. But there is a sort of what I call a subtle vibration inside, just the expanding presence, the sense of presence. In the manifest state, in the waking state, that what I call the deity of the waking state, everything reports back to that sense of presence. The presence is the clue, and the presence is the way in which the Absolute has the taste of knowing itself. You see, and in that state of presence, somehow this is your joy in existence. In fact, you see, this is how you play with yourself. You move in yourself. Somehow you're learning, and sometimes the lessons are painful. Sometimes they're joyful. All of this is life. You see, but now there's no doubt really in your mind. You see, in a way you're using your mind, but in no mind. And these things, they sound strange things to say, but in the experience, it totally makes sense inside your understanding. You see, that nothing, no shape you need to fix. Your all answers can be yes, but they can also be no, and they can be perhaps, and sometimes maybe, and like this. You see, you see all these things. Oh my God, you know? My world before so narrow. It's either black or white. Now the full spectrum of possibilities can play, but there's no fear that they can take me out of myself. When you know something cannot take you out of yourself, you can open your arms fully to the universe, because every part of it can have its play. But when you're a person insecure, you always kind of have to make sure what you're safe with, because you have a fear that if you go into another groove, you'll be lost. Then you see that all grooves are yours. You just know, you're not teaching you this thing. So I want to take away this need to keep learning and learning and learning what you already know but have forgotten, or what is somehow eclipsed by this present belief that you're a person. So don't bother with all of that learning. Just follow my advice, keep looking, keep being there, keep seeing. Maybe now I can sit, we're talking like this, and I see completely that you are the self having this imagination that you're nearly there. You see, like that, I see it very clearly. But and sometimes just a little bit something like this, and oh wow, it's gone. But sometimes no. Then I have to respect that somehow it wants to play like this a bit longer. Yeah? Not deliberate to itself inside you. You don't feel, you're thinking, Mooji, I really want to get it. You see? And then if I say to you, but you are it, then you say, okay, yes, I know. And I said, no, you don't. You don't know yet. You kind of, this knowing that you speak is not complete. You see, it's all right. You're still in my care. So whatever happens, still when the opportunity comes, we come again. You know, at the appointed time, appropriate time, we'll talk again. We come again.
Shri Ramana Bhagavate Shri Punjaji Bhagavate Shri Mooji Ji Bhagavate Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare Hare Shri Lord Shiva Bhagavate Om Shri